Hey, friends, here I am. I should sit in front of that window, otherwise it looks a bit weird. It's all about the framing and the lighting. It is. Hey, how you all doing? Here we are. It is Chat with Matt. It is episode number 2. The date is the 9th of January here in New Zealand. Anyway, it is 2019. Here we go. Giddy up. Giddy up. Awesome. Hey, Sister Sylvie, how are you? Let me get back to where people wrote in. Awesome. There's a few more comments from when I last looked. Yeah, so hopefully you guys can find us here. Sometimes I'll say this but I know the people who need it the most can't actually see it yet, but when they do get to watch the replay, they'll know. If you're waiting on the Mantara page for me to come on live, sometimes you need to refresh it, hit refresh on your page just after we come on. Hopefully, if Facebook is behaving itself, it should show you a little notification that we're on live. If you don't get those notifications, one thing that you might like to do, if you go to the Mantara page and up the top where it has following, I think, yes, if you click on the button that says following, you get the option to see first. If you click that, you are more likely to get this notification. That will help. Hey, Sister Patricia, good morning. It is a beautiful morning. I hope it's nice on your side of the mountains. Patricia also lives in New Zealand, not so far from me as the crow flies, but not so close as you drive. There's a mountain range in between us. Yeah, it's beautiful over here. We've got a beautiful summer's morning. So, anyway, my friends, let's get into this. Cool. I was just reading Patricia's comment. I am going to start with what MK wrote in about financial freedom. It's a pretty easy question. Well, easy question. Sometimes it's not the easiest question, but it's a pretty broad question. It basically says, since this affects a lot of people, can you chat about it a bit? Financial freedom. It's grey in the Wairarapa. That's no good, Patricia. The weather's no good on the other side of the mountains. We've got a stunner here. There's not much wind either. It's beautiful. Anyway, not to rub salt in the wound. If all else fails, we'll talk about the weather. So, financial freedom. And Sister Sylvie added to this topic somewhere. Was it in there or was it down lower? Let me find it. Right, regarding financial freedom, I have reduced income working part-time these days, but I noticed that I need much less than what I used to buy. Does it, quote-unquote, count as financial freedom? My bookkeeping is quite balanced. I'm just more mindful what I buy, and this is helpful. Less stuff is accumulated. Awesome. So that's an awesome addition to this question. So let's start with the very basics of what financial freedom is, in my opinion, right? All of what I state, even though I work as a channel, right, is still my opinion or quote-unquote our opinion. Believe it or not, beings from spirit, no matter how far up they are in that hierarchy, still talk from their opinion, right? The more advanced a being becomes, the more that they realize that they don't speak the absolute truth, that everything is their opinion, and they're willing to say what they feel is best with conviction, but without arguing that it's the truth, right? Because they understand that their truth is not your truth. So that's it. Everything that we state here, everything that we talk about and discuss is our opinion, and it is not the absolute truth, and you don't have to believe in any way, shape or form whatever we say, nor do you need to discredit it as being quote-unquote wrong just because you don't believe it, right? It's understanding that different strokes for different folks, right? It's that understanding that everything has merit for someone, and most things have some disalignment for everyone, right? So it's about working with what serves you and being willing to pick and choose, being willing to be these discussions are not meant to indoctrinate you with the knowledge that you quote unquote need to be successful. These discussions are intended to be inspiration for you to inquire as to what would serve you, right? This is to provoke dialogue in your mind, right, in your understanding of the world. And it's not to, as we talk a lot, we don't want to promote being overly intellectual with how you do the world, but coming to an intellectual understanding that what's most important for you is what your heart truly feels. And you won't find what your heart truly feels until you allow yourself to unwind what you already believe. So much of what we say as Matt Mantara, is designed to prod your beliefs so that you get a chance to examine them and potentially allow yourself to soften around them so that you have more space to bring in what your heart truly knows, right? So you have more space to embody and live from your heart's wisdom rather than caught in your mental beliefs of how it must be, should be, has to be, the perceived truth from your perspective. Hey, Sister Ali, how are you? We still haven't had a chat and we're well overdue. We must catch up soon. Anywho's, so financial freedom is what we're moving towards. So from our opinion, what is financial freedom? It has nothing to do with the sum of money involved, right? It is about freedom, being free with your finances. What does that mean, to be free with your finances? It basically means that you're able to do whatever you desire to do, right? That you are not financially limited, right? Financial freedom is the opposite of financial limitation. How much money it requires you to be financially free to do what you want to do is completely individual, of course. And we can all feel financially free with any sum of money if we are willing to be strategic in how we fulfill our desires. The point is that money flows behind financial freedom rather than financial freedom being achieved through the gaining of money. I'll say that again. Money will flow in as you embrace financial freedom rather than you attaining financial freedom as a result of the influx of money. Awesome, MK. It sounds like you are right in line for this, going down rabbit holes trying to set up a sales page, payments, and back-end email for my services. Take a breath. That is definitely a triggering space to be for most of us, right? The dance with technology and everything that gets provoked as you play with offering your services for money, right? And setting up the mechanism by which you can be paid and by which you advertise your services. That was very, very fun for me. It still is very, very quote unquote fun for me. And so we definitely hold you in compassionate support with intention for your best outcome as you engage with that activity. Now, anyways, getting back to financial freedom, and hello to Renee, or is it Renee? Sorry, I'm not very good with names. Yeah, I don't know why you can't get MailChimp and PayPal to talk to each other. Getting anything to talk to PayPal can be difficult. That is the truth. And I know for me, I'll give you a tip. The way that I don't use MailChimp, but I use Aweber, which is pretty much the same. And the only way I can get them to talk to each other is through a third-party integration called Zapier. Zapppier. I believe I spelt that correctly. Let me check. It's here in my bookmarks. Zapier. No, it's only one P. Zappier. Zapier. There's a free version of it which allows you to have 5 integrations. I don't think PayPal is part of the free integration. They get you every way, don't they? But that's how I get And that's how I get my email provider to talk to PayPal. Yep. Boring as it is. And the only other option is to use something that's reasonably expensive, such as, well, it's not the only other option, but other options include something like ClickFunnels and stuff like that, which is a little bit more. You're up for like $100 US per month, which is not easily affordable if you don't have a business yet. Anywho's, let's talk about financial freedom, because we can talk about this later. We can talk about use later. Yeah. And I am not the best person to be talking about IT, by the way, because my show is relatively ad hoc, but it's working for me right now, so I can't complain. Anywho's, maybe I can offer it. No, I'm not going to offer a different chat with Matt that's specifically about how to do business with the the nitty gritty of business. As I said, there's probably someone better at it than I am. Anyways, but financial freedom is something we can definitely talk about. So financial freedom is a choice, basically. It's a choice to feel free around your finances. And we can definitely, as Sister Sylvie pointed out, we can be strategic with that. And what I mean is not getting caught up in wanting to do something that requires a great deal of money. Now, I'm not going to say that you shouldn't do anything that requires money and that you should live on the smell of an oily rag like a pauper in order to be financially free. But what will serve most of us is to get out of desperation around the idea that we are limited by our money. There's another important part to this which is about to erupt out of me. I'm just trying to get it in some sort of logical order. So the point is to embrace the vibration of freedom. The point is to feel more free. As we allow our energy to align with the freedom, as we allow our energy to align with feeling more expansive, as we get out of the desperation of wanting, right? Wanting is basically when we think we need something in order to be happy. And we basically have, what's the right word? Identified something that we need in order to be happy. And then we want that. But e.g. we lack it. Wanting means basically we lack it. So we've recognized that we're lacking something that we think we need in order to be happy. And therefore, we are now basically held hostage until we get this thing, we can't be happy. It's going to be much easier for you if you choose to be happy without that thing and then allow that thing to come to you from the space of expansion rather than being contracted around needing that thing so that you can be successful in attaining your happiness. And the truth is, this is all perspective, our perspective, right? So we think we need the thing to be happy, and quite often once we get the thing, after going through a long, hard battle to get it, we're still not happy, and that's a real kicker, right? That really hurts. Many of us have struggled for a long time to achieve things, and once we have achieved them, we get disappointed with that achievement, right? There, of course, is always a hit of satisfaction when you achieve it and you feel great about the accomplishment. But the happiness that you thought was going to be in that achievement doesn't materialize in any sort of lasting way. And mind is then scrambling to look for the next thing that we want, right? The next thing that we think we are missing, and that is the excuse that we have for not being happy, right? Wanting is basically our mind making an excuse for why we haven't chosen to be happy yet. We're missing this. We can't be happy until we have that. And it could be all sorts of things, right? Some people feel that they'll never be happy until they have children. Some people will think they'll never be happy until they have the right partner or the right job or a certain amount of money or own their house freehold and no longer have a mortgage. We put all of these, our mind finds all of these excuses for why we are not happy now. And then, of course, once you've made that excuse, then you have to start achieving these things before you can even contemplate being happy, because you believe that you can't be happy until you've paid off your house, until you've got a job that earns a certain amount of income, or a partner, or a yellow Lamborghini, or have had children, or tick the box, right? Have visited Iceland, whatever it is, right? Whatever it is where you think your happiness is, you're basically held hostage until you can manage to manifest those. And some of those things are not easy to manifest. Some of them are not easily mentally controllable, right? A lot of them are God's doing, if you like, right? And so trying hard now doesn't have any effect. You can't try hard to have children, right? Quite often the stress of trying hard to have children is what basically prevents or desperately limits, right? The stress response in the body limits fertility, so it doesn't help, right? Doesn't help. Anywho's, that's just an example, but let's get back to financial freedom perhaps. So choosing to be free with the amount of money that you currently have is, in my opinion, a great step forward into allowing more money to come into your life. Now, also, a lot of people are unwilling. Let me put this a better way. Money flows behind the project, right? Money requires a reason. Most of us are not just going to get the money for the sake of the egoic satisfaction of having the money, right? Did you get that? A lot of people want money so that they can feel safe and secure. They don't have any real reason other than that for the money though, right? And so money is not just going to come along and be stagnant with you, right? Money loves to flow. Money is a form of energy. Energy likes to flow. Nothing in the universe is static, right? Nothing in the natural world is static. Things are either in a process of growing or in a process of decay. There is no staticness. There's no whatever that word is when things don't change, right? Stability. There's no real stability, right? Ecosystems are stable. In fact, things are growing while things are decaying, and there's a natural balance to all of that, right? So we can say that the ecosystem is stable, but any one object in the ecosystem is never static for any length of time, right? Even the rocks and all of that, they're all in a process of either growth or decay, one or the other. Money is a part of nature, right? Money is an energy and it flows. So just wanting money for the sake of money, e.g., oh, that's going to make me feel safe or secure, or then I'll feel successful in having that money, isn't going to work for you. Until you have a reason for the money, right? A project in mind for the money, something that you wish to do. A heart's expression is the best form of project rather than a mental, chase the Joneses, keep up with the Joneses, I think is the right title, right? The right expression. Rather than just trying to keep up with the Joneses and have what you need to have, when you really desire to do something from your heart and you start planning to do it, then you have a much better chance of bringing in the required funds to do it. So, I know there's a couple of people out there who coach abundance stuff, and they're always talking about, well, always, I don't follow them that closely, but when I have listened to them, they talk about, planning how you're going to spend the money before you have it, right? That's what they use to bring the money in, because if they say if you're not willing, if you don't have a reason to spend it, then you're not going to have a reason to earn it. And so that's it. And it's true. If you're happy with what you've got at the moment, then you are financially free and there's no need for any more money. If it's just a little tickling thought in the back of your mind, oh, I'd like more money, that's great, but then really choose what you're going to do with that money to help you really inspire yourself to earn it. Now, earning it doesn't necessarily mean having to sacrifice yourself. In fact, it's better if it doesn't mean sacrificing yourself. I've got to keep look at the time because I am intending to keep this in 30 minutes. And I also want to talk about sleep. So be willing to set goals for yourself, right, to how you're going to spend the money. it's a balance, of course, right? Because if you set a goal that's too big or too far away, right, too far away, which of course is relative to everyone, then if it's so far away that it creates stress, that's what I basically mean. If you create stress in your life, then that is not going to help you. So working towards achieving a goal that you don't yet have the money to achieve requires you to work with a degree of trust and faith and confidence in yourself and in the universe. That is what's going to function the best for you. So it's finding this balance that it stretches you and takes you to a new level financially, and yet doesn't create stress and contraction that you don't feel that you can make it, and therefore you are, really, really concerned about quote unquote failure. The point is, failing's not the end of the world. In fact, quite often, as was that last week I was talking, or maybe on a different call, I can't remember, right? Things just flow through my mind. But, it's the start of the year and we've been talking about setting intentions and doing that. It was probably on the acceptance call that I did, which was awesome, by the way. If you want to look that up on my store, I haven't actually put it on my store. That is on my list to do. Maybe I'll get that done today. You can buy it, though, still by buying the current call, which is now in replay. But anyway, the point is, I've freaking forgotten what the point is. not unusual for me. Accepting, how did that fit in? I've lost it. Awesome. I was talking about balance or something like that. But anyway, we're going to be working a lot more with abundance, which includes financial freedom, it means basically we're going to be working with all sorts of things on our retreat in Mexico coming up, right, in however long, a couple of months less. So I'll talk a lot more about this sort of idea. And really what it's about, though, is facilitating the energetics that allows you to step into it more easily. Because most of us are carrying all sorts of indoctrinations and limitations around money and our worthiness and what work means and all of that sort of stuff. And also how much we're allowed to have, because abundance, of course, is not just about money, not at all. Abundance is about having enough of or plenty of anything that you desire in your life, whether that's food, whether that's money, whether that's exciting experiences, whether that is purposeful pursuits, whether that is friendships, stimulating conversations, whatever it is that you desire. It's about having enough of anything that fulfills you. That's what abundance is about. It's about having enough of anything that fulfills you, that makes your life richer, that allows you to really express your truth, which is what you're here to do on this planet, right? It's not to succeed. It's not to fill, to meet the expectations of anything external to you, not God, not your parents, not society. It's about expressing your truth in the greatest version, the most expansive version of yourself, which of course is a continually evolving thing, which is basically means we never get to the end of abundance, we never get to the end of expression, we never get to the end of spiritual evolution, right? There's no destination here. It's a continual expansion, whether we choose to continually expand here on Earth or whether we, get tired of the Earth experience after we've, basically done what we can do here on Earth and we move into different dimensions and different realms. Doesn't really matter. The process continues, right? All of the ascended masters, the archangels, all of it is continually on this process of spiritual evolution, soul expansion, if you like, whatever you want to call it. That's what you're here to do. So it's not about being successful. It's not about being quote unquote right? It's not about satisfying other people's or societies or whatever perceived rules for you. It's not. It's about you expressing yourself. So that's probably what I was about to say. So I just finally come back. Setting yourself a goal, a financial goal, and then failing to achieve it is still a very valuable experience, and it is still helping you progress towards a greater degree of financial freedom through that failure experience. So never be afraid to set a goal and then work towards it and then not achieve it. That's right. We were talking about in the last call about, climbing the mountain, and not achieving the summit. And if you got 9/10 of the way up and then had to come down because you ran out of daylight or ran out of energy or ran out of whatever or hurt yourself, whatever, it's not that the 9/10 of climbing was all wasted because you didn't reach the summit. You still gained a lot of skills, you still gained a lot of fitness, you still achieved a lot in climbing 9/10 of the way up a mountain, even though you didn't reach the summit. Of course, egoically, there's a great loss of lack of satisfaction because there's always an extra hit when you hit a summit. This is an analogy for achieving any goal, by the way. But you have to understand that there's a lot of benefit in climbing. And even if you only climb 10% of the way up the mountain, that first 10% might be quite a challenge for you, and it might improve your skills quite a bit. So if you set yourself the goal, like MK, working to get MailChimp to talk to PayPal to set up, payment gateways and all of the rest of it, failing today at doing that has still allowed MK to learn a lot of skills about what, MailChimp and PayPal and whatever else is capable of doing to help her reformulate, to regroup, right? She's grown stronger through the climb, even though she may not succeed today, or she may succeed today. I'm not saying whether she's going to hit the summit or not. We don't know. It's up to her. But the point is, the struggle to do this stuff is helping her to gain new skills, and not just the physical skills about MailChimp and PayPal, but also internal emotional skills to deal with the frustration of doing all of this, and the spiritual and the mental disciplines that go with staying happy, staying calm, working in a functional way in frustrating, stressful situations. Now, a stressful situation is any situation that is potentially going to create stress. Doesn't necessarily have to create stress, right? Because we all have different abilities to deal with such situations, and of course we all get triggered by different situations. Some people have no problem working with technology and finances and yet get very, very triggered when working with emotions, whereas others are very, very adept at working with emotions and dancing around different people, and yet technology or something to do with money or banking or paying bills is a total freak out, right? We're all different, but the process is the same. Awesome. Exactly, MK. So it's the third time round as you attempt to climb this mountain, and there's much less stress. And you're finally posting the sales copy. Awesome. And that's it, right? Sometimes we have to be willing to do what's good enough rather than do what's perfect, right? Sometimes it is a matter of getting the sales copy out there in whatever form we can, even if the system is not as ideal as we might like, even if the integration is not as automatic as we might like, even if we have to rely on people emailing us and us sending them an invoice to pay the friggin' bill, it's better than nothing. And sometimes it's really important to just get it out there, to get our sales copy out there, to make the offer, and then keep working at getting the integration better as we go. That is also very, very true, and I have had to do that, not ideally for my mind, but I've had to do that in the past, where we just get it out as best we can and then allow it to keep evolving from there. So find the freedom with your finances and allow yourself to be more expansive. That is always going to help. I'm out of time, and I didn't talk about, I just noticed 10:30 out of time, did not talk about sleep at all. Maybe I have to do 2 of these a week. Anyways, using today's energy to get it out there. Awesome. Perfect, MK. So write on today's energies and get it out there. Get it out there. That is the main thing. To start, right? I always say that, start where you can and get the offer out there. Because that will keep helping the energy to shift. We'll always have resistance to that initial step, and sometimes the resistance to that is what's preventing us from getting the integration or the finer points to work. And once we break through the pain, the resistance, the limitation, the fear of putting it out there, then we can come back and work on then we can work on getting the integration better once we have relaxed around the fear of actually putting it out there. Awesome. Yeah, I'm talking to a lot more than just you though, MK. I'm talking to everyone who will watch this. I know I may have told, well, I don't know that I've told you because I can't remember. I don't remember half the stuff I say. But this isn't a private conversation. Will have to be manual confirmation for now. Yeah, awesome. Okay, my friends, so that is our 30 minutes as I believe it. Much love to you all. Yeah, hopefully this helps. If you're interested in coming to Mexico with us, please reach out. You can find it on this Mantara page up above under events. If you want some more information, you can go to our website, mantara.nz, mantara.n, and then Z for you Americans, or Z for the rest of the world. NZ for New Zealand. And check it out. It's under retreats, obviously enough. Yeah. And I look forward to serving you again next week. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, please feel free to reach out and we will keep these conversations going. If you like this style and what we do, then you would probably love being in the Mantara Transformation and Empowerment Support community. It is $33 New Zealand per month, which is about $25 US per month, and it gives you a huge amount of services, value, and so check that out. It is under, if you go to my website again, it is under Working with Mantara. It is the first option. And if you can't find it, then just reach out to me any way you can, and then I will link you to that so you can read exactly what it's all about and choose whether you wish to check it out and invest in it. Okay, my friends, much love for now. Bye-bye. Enjoy your day, your night, your whatever you might be up to. Much love. Bye-bye.